So we just harvested our garlic here in this 40 square foot bed, and I've got 12 tomatoes here that's going to go in the ground and another 6 that I got to bring over. Now what we're going to do with this bed here is we're going to maximize our space. 40 square feet, we're going to put 18 tomato plants in here. Seems excessive, and it might be a little crowded, but essentially we got to come in here and got to weed this. But we'll have one row where this fork is here, have another row there, and then have another row there. So we're going to be a little on the intensive planting side, but overall we've got the space here and we got the tomatoes still left over from when we initially planted. Now once we get these 18 in, that'll put us about 92 tomato plants, or 82 tomato plants in this garden with another 10 in the front yard. So the intention is to have more than we know what to do with. So what we're going to do here is first we got to come in here and weed. And when I talk about weeding, I don't mean just come in here and rip the top level of grass like this. Oh, well, we weeded. No, you want to get down there and weed. Get your garden fork is the best tool here. And you see why? Because this and this and this will all propagate new growth for, you see all of those weeds, all those roots there. If I just rip it off and I leave that much in the ground, that is going to put on new growth tips, and you're going to have just as big of a mess now, or in 2 or 3 weeks, as you do now. So you want to get in here, and it takes time, yes. It's going to take probably 40 minutes for me to work this bed, but I will purge the bed of all of the roots and grass and weeds and have a fresh bed to work with. And then as the tomatoes grow, I can get in there with the garden hoe and just rake across the top if there is weeds. The plan is to come and mulch this with dry grass clippings to smother out everything, as well as giving the plants a lot of moisture retention with that mulch. So we just want to go in here, and it doesn't matter. And again, I'm just kicking up more roots, and these roots are, you know, they're like little spiders underneath the ground. They're just everywhere. So we want to get all of those out, because that's what's really going to compete with the tomatoes. If you've got grass around your tomatoes, around any plant, it's going to compete with the nutrients and fight with the plants, and the weeds are going to beat your plants because they're much more aggressive than your tomatoes or your peppers or your potatoes, fill in the blank. So we want to work this bed, we're going to plant this bed, and the way we're going to construct we're not going to use cages, we're going to do a Florida weave, and that simply is a big post on both sides on each row, and then run strings back and forth like the side of a wrestling ring, and as the tomatoes grow, we'll weave them up and through it to allow the structure of the string to hold the tomatoes and the weight of the fruit. So we got to get this done, and we've already got tomatoes in the ground about 3 weeks ago. Now this will be kind of like our second crop of tomatoes in the garden, so we can have a succession of tomatoes, and abundance of them is the plan all the way through until the first frost.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.